Right.
Good job.
Proper hard, lads. That's what you got to do. I say that I'm cracking a non-alcoholic. Infinite Sessions, by the way. Infinite Sessions Spurs fan.
Wait,
Yeah.
Chris.
It can be Infinite
Spurs
Sessions
lad.
if it's 0%.
Right, exactly. That's it. That's it.
I was at the point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a bit, my head's gone.
Clever
Right
marketing.
up to speed.
So I was saying before this game, as I made an appearance on the Fighting Cock podcast earlier this week, I was saying that all I wanted from this game was just, look, we're going into an international break. It's not been great out the back of the Sporting game. Or what are they, Lisbon or are they Sporting? What's the non-problematic one? Sporting Club de Portugal.
Sporting Lisbon, let's grow up.
Exactly. But all I wanted out the back of this, we've had sort of people talking about the performances. We're getting results, but the performances haven't been great. I was sort of thinking, like, I don't care. All I want going into an international break is Tottenham to score a few goals and for Sonny to score a few goals for us just to kind of relax a bit. And I don't think the performance was that great on balance, but 6-2.
6-2, that's what the record books will show, Jack.
Exactly.
It's literally, as soon as the final whistle goes, all of it's irrelevant apart from the score.
Yeah.
It doesn't, we can sit, obviously, I know you're saying that on a pod where we talk about what happened in the game. I'm like, it's irrelevant. We might as well end the podcast.
End the pod.
Irrelevant, 6-2.
So if you have enjoyed Rule the Roost podcast,
like and subscribe.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Like, the result is all that counts. You can scrutinise every element, but it's good. You got the job done.
Yeah.
And Leicester are so shit at the moment. If you don't convincingly beat them, what the fuck are you doing?
But, all right. I'm going to put this to you, Phil.
Yes.
We won 6-2.
Yeah.
But did we convince? And that sounds ridiculous to say because, yes, the scoreline reads 6-2. But did we beat them convincingly?
So you asking me to succinctly say how the game went?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Okay, so
on your
it was,
seventh beer?
It was a very it was a extremely odd game, wasn't it? It was we were uncomfortable, and obviously was there a penalty scored early on? Yes, there was. There was a penalty scored early on that threw us. It put us on the front foot, which we were. But then at 2-1, when we should have probably clicked back into our normal way of just killing a first half and just controlling a game, or certainly controlling the shots that we conceded, we didn't do that. We were all over the place. There were some bizarre performances from some players. Obviously, second half started. Bentancur picks Ndidi's pocket, scores a goal. Again, we weren't
his first goal in
comfortable.
about 160 games or something ridiculous.
I think he scored for Uruguay just before he joined us, didn't he? But certainly,
I think in club football.
Yeah, and certainly in league games.
Mugging me off on my podcast
no,
again.
Oh, no, I was just. And then a little known player named Heung-min Son came on. I don't know if you guys have. I mean, I've been following him for quite a few years.
All right.
I know a lot of people.
He's one of those Bundesliga talents.
Yeah,
go on about, isn't he?
To be fair, he's a player that I've been talking up a lot, and so this is my claim to fame. He's a decent player, that Son.
That's a hot take.
I know, but that's why you do these podcasts. You get big brain, galaxy brain people on, right?
So, sure. Given how, because as Phil's saying there, it was a bit all over the shop, the game, but we have kind of come through. But do you think that Conte's decision has been somewhat vindicated? Conte's lack of rotation has been somewhat vindicated now, given that we looked pretty awful in that first half.
I don't even blame it on any of that. Obviously the rotation thing is a point, but I actually just think it's just the nature. How could it not affect the run of play, that ridiculous sequence that played out? Dav, penalty, saved amazing penalty, but retake the penalty, then the penalty scored. How could that not frazzle people, And I just think
But they're professional athletes. They shouldn't be getting frazzled. That's the point.
It was just a bit farcical. It was a farcical 5 minutes of football. But it was
5 minutes. That's like a little section they have on American sports channel. The farcical 5 minutes, brought to you by Doritos.
Yeah,
Five Guys.
Yeah, Five Guys. Yeah, probably Doritos. But so do you know what I mean? I just think it kind of made everyone think, because before that I actually think we were doing fine. Leicester looked shit, we looked fine. Then that all happened, and then everyone was all over the place. It was just a bit nutty for the rest of the first half, and even the first 5-10 minutes of the second half. And then we just kind of regained our composure. And then obviously Son came on, great choice, and finished the job. But yeah, you know, I think it's more that. I do agree with you kind of about the rotation, but I just think it was just a mental.
Yeah.
We'll go into players kind of in more depth, but look, in this top end, let's just kind of like, let's just talk about Son a bit. Like, Phil, do you reckon, because to me, like, that's a reaction. That's not just Son coming on and scoring the goal. The nature, like the quality of his goals, and to get a hat-trick, that's a lad with a point to prove, right?
Yeah. And I think that there has been a bit of, obviously Son, the character is, you know, he's the nice guy, he's the fun guy. It feels like we've, not necessarily we as us three, but like the narrative has been a bit sort of infantilizing about him, you know? It's kind of made him out to be this like weird child player as opposed to a professional footballer. And at the end of the day, if you're not playing that good, and there's players like Kulusevski and Richarlison who have both had decent appearances, they deserve to start, and that's what it is. And I think Conte played it right in having him on the bench. And, you know, when he came on, you saw the reaction from the Spurs fans. There was a huge kind of like positive reaction to him coming on, a big supportive reaction to him coming on. And, you know, that I think that played a big part of it.
Yeah, and we were 3-2 up, I think, weren't we? And and it's a good tactical manoeuvre to bring him on at that point rather than the pressure of, here we go again from minute 0, like I have the potential to shape how this game goes or whatever. But then what I would say is as well that the way Leicester played suited Son. He could run rings around everyone. They gave us acres of space, and maybe he just needed a bit of an easier team to play to get those goals. He got a hat-trick. Great, cool. Maybe his confidence is back now. And then we've got Arsenal next. So maybe he goes into that game a little bit more like, I'm not a disaster. You know, he's got his confidence back a little bit for that. I think Leicester, they are bottom of the table. They were giving us loads of open space. It was a good game for him to come and get that hat-trick. It's great. It's still an amazing achievement. A hat-trick is never a done deal.
It's funny though, like the thing is, because, you know, the point I was sort of making to Phil and what I was trying to get is because as I was watching that, it was kind of bizarre. Like the game, it ended on such a freakish note. Son scoring that hat-trick, basically. It was unbelievable.
Did it end 6-2?
Yeah. 2 of those goals were absolutely unbelievable. And I was thinking, like, at that 3-2, Bentancur's goal was perfect. Straight after half-time, we needed that. But with it kind of, with the minutes kind of going down, with us only being 1 goal ahead, I was watching this thinking, like, Leicester are going to get another one here. Like, if we don't pull away from them, which we can do, we were watching this thinking, like, we should be beating this up. But we knew all it was crying out for 87th minute. Oh, it's James Maddison with another. You know, like you can just see it now.
This be the game where Leicester get
exactly.
No, absolutely not.
It's just it's tough, and I feel like I'm repeating myself constantly, which I inevitably do doing a podcast constantly, but. And just being a low intellect kind of individual.
Being a rambling buffoon.
Thank you, darling.
Mum and Dad are fighting
That's
again.
Mr. Rambling Buffoon to you.
You're Mrs. Rambling Buffoon.
I am though.
But I still kind of was watching that game thinking, we should be like, as I said in the sporting game, we should be beating this lot, battering them.
Yeah.
And yes, I realise we've ended the game winning 6-2, but it didn't really feel like a battering. It didn't feel like Spurs were ever really in control of the game or that comfortable. There were a lot of unforced errors all over the place. It was kind of annoying me, and it never seemed like the players were that comfortable in possession. It never seemed like we were that comfortable playing the ball around. I just kind of wonder, again, objectively it's good. Our form is great. We're joint top of the table now, right?
Yeah.
But it still doesn't feel that way, does it, right?
No.
No, sorry, go on.
Just on a point. I mean, I know this is kind of a bit of a maelstrom of opinions and that, because it's obviously a hugely emotional game, and we're recording this just right after the final whistle. But Bissouma coming on. I mean, he came on when we were obviously 3-2 up, right? He didn't come on at 4-2. But either way, it just a lot of people have been saying, me included, about this, having the two in the middle and just allowing a team to have the midfield, whether that works or not. Having the three in there, we can't overlook that as being a big reason why we suddenly had that platform when
we
the
had
team was
so
coming
much more
on to
control,
us.
didn't we?
Yeah,
and just being able to like snuff out those attacks and just close people down and then spring them on the break. So I don't know if that's necessarily a salient point, but it's certainly something to kind of consider in terms of, which I don't think we've done that many times this season. Certainly not that's worked out. Maybe we did it against West Ham, but yeah, it was that's a big part of why we ended up running away with the game. And I think that Leicester were sort of at that point thinking, I think that at 3-2 they were trying to bring on Vardy and Iheanacho. And I think we just got in there and just took the game away from them. And I think that if they'd managed to get those two on at 3-2, then it might have been a different story. But so it's a very, very important moment in the game.
I think the reason, even though the scoreline says differently, I think the reason it doesn't feel like, oh, we battered them or it was a convincing win, is because the game was so chaotic in so many ways. Just really bizarre. But then I think we did gain more control, and it just kind of started to take more shape. But I just think it was just the nature of the game. But also the fact that it was so chaotic allowed for some really good moments and some amazing goals. Like the actual individual goals were fantastic, because let's face it, because they weren't defending well. So we just had more space and more ability to create like a standout moment.
Right, we'll go through each of the players individually, all right? Tottenham starting 11 today. Well, we don't need to go into the starting 11, but Hugo Lloris. To me, like distribution, pretty so-so as it often is with Lloris, but he made some pretty spectacular saves. I thought, again, just pretty integral to the win, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, quite a few awkward ones. You know those kind of chances that come off someone's shoulder. I mean, not necessarily in this game, but the ones where the goalkeeper has to really sort of change direction or whatever. Certainly from Patson Daka at I think 3-2. Which again would have changed the nature of the game massively. But yeah, his saves were good, distribution poor, which I think will probably be on his tombstone.
Yeah, exactly, story of his life. But nevertheless, I'll never take him for granted. I just think we're going to miss him so much when he goes. I just think because we've had him for so long, it's sort of normalised. But in reality, he's unbelievable, and every game he makes some incredible save. You're like, fucking hell.
I tell you what, while we're on goalkeepers, that fucking Leicester keeper, horrible.
He was much.
He is awful.
I don't know if he could have done a hell of a lot with many of Son's goals, but he was certainly, his positioning was really bad, and I imagine a Leicester fan would say that he's a lot of the goals that they've conceded, and they've conceded a lot, have been down to him.
Well, I mean, this should probably act as a bit of a cautionary tale to Tottenham, like you're talking about there, Shah, with Lloris going. They've had Kasper Schmeichel to rely upon to be a pretty sturdy option for them for many years. And I'm not really sure what's happened there, why he's left kind of out of the blue. Club captain, legend of the club. He's actually older than Lloris, which is weird. I always think about Kasper Schmeichel as being young, but he's not. Yeah. He's an older keeper, but still, club captain, club legend, just kind of went out the back door pretty quietly in summer, and they've replaced him with, this pretty random geezer.
Well, I think he's been at Leicester for a while, isn't he? So he's like their second or third choice.
I mean, he's horrible.
Where's Morgan? Seemed to know who he was.
Yeah, he's horrible. He's not good.
Schmeichel was so solid, and look,
so solid.
No, but look at what Leicester have obviously achieved with Schmeichel. Amazing, and obviously there's so much emphasis on the forwards and whoever's going to score the goals, but ultimately, if you've got a shit keeper, you're fucked, aren't you? So,
well, as they are, bottom of the table with 1 point.
Exactly, that's what I mean. So, arguably, the keeper is basically the most instrumental, aren't they? Really.
Davinson Sanchez. I mean, a horror show. A horror. Why?
I don't know why he's still
Look,
here.
I'm sorry. I'm going for full post-game reactive. Guy has meltdown. Shouts into microphone. I've had enough. Gonna get me on the thumbnail now. All of it. Spurs fan, cringe meltdown. All of it. Right? Why is he still at our football club? I feel like from the year we signed it, I think it was our record signing for quite some time.
Yeah.
£46 million, I believe. I don't even think it was euros. I think it's £46 million. I don't think he's ever been good for Tottenham, ever. And we've gone through phases of him being all right, being a kind of decent player. But as pretty much everybody has always said, the problem with Davinson Sanchez is you're always waiting for him to fuck up.
Yeah.
Always. You're always waiting for him to fuck up. Why are we still doing this dance with him?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are plenty of decent teams in La Liga that would pick him up for 20 mil. Great. Everyone's happy. He can have guaranteed first team football elsewhere, and we don't have to, because it was a disaster class again for them today. It was awful. He was awful.
Yeah, but he knows. I feel like he's doing it deliberately because at the end of last season,
this is an act of aggression.
Yeah, it's just out and out war now. But like towards the end of last season, I'm very critical of Davinson Sanchez. But at the end of last season, I was like, God, even Conte's got Dav playing well. So maybe because it's towards the end of the season and the transfer window, they're like, he's not urgent to get rid of. Meanwhile, at the beginning of the season, he was fucking Look, here we are, beginning of the season again. He's dog shit.
He's
and then
catfished us.
Yes, he's catfished us. And that's the thing. He's shit right now. And then he might, towards the end of the season or towards the January transfer window, think, I better fucking up my game.
Yeah. Well,
do you think that's what it is? Do you think he's sat in an armchair, cracks his knuckles, he looks at the calendar, he's like, oh, it's time for me to start playing well again.
He crosses off the days.
Yeah.
Look, he knows, he's self-aware enough to know that he's not good enough to be good for the whole season. So if he's going to pick his moments, he'll just keep it fresh in the memory. So towards the end of the season or towards any of the transfer, January transfer window.
He keeps his head down. He's not the one who's going to be banging on the manager's door, is he?
No,
let me in. He's like,
no.
Just keep out of the way. But as you say, it's interesting. With him, you're always waiting for him to drop one. Mm-hmm. We didn't have to wait too long today, at least.
I mean, you saw
he
that
dropped two in quick succession.
Well, that penalty.
Vile.
But I kind of tweeted whatever, fucking Sanchez. After that penalty had happened, people were saying, "Oh well, I think maybe the Leicester player was like simulating that."
Out.
But even there were two in the lead up to that penalty.
There were three. The first, he fluffed his lines.
You're 15.
There's four. He started. Third.
He got up in the morning. Yeah.
The third one, he fluffed his lines, put us under pressure, went to close down the ball, missed it, got turned, and then ran and gave away a penalty. Awful.
Just not good. Not good.
Not good.
Eric Dyer, goal, King Eric.
Love that moment. Forgot about that moment, but good. Yeah.
Good goal, good header. And I think this is a good time to bring up, right?
Yeah. 2
goals in the early stages of the match, both from set pieces, right? Tottenham brought in a set piece specialist, a set piece coach. Yeah. Remember when Liverpool did that before?
Oh, really?
And everybody made fun of Liverpool. They're bringing in set piece coaches, they're bringing in throwing coaches. And Liverpool started scoring loads of goals from set pieces and throw-ins and all this type of shit. I don't actually have any data to back up that claim, but Liverpool have been good.
Right, yeah.
But still, Spurs, I'm pretty sure for the past few years, we've really, every time we've gotten a set piece, especially corners, we've just been like, well, we're not going to do anything with that.
Yeah.
And now suddenly, we look fucking dangerous from set pieces.
Well, it's just fucking, it's important, do you know what I mean? It's like how Mourinho was like, oh, I didn't think it was necessary to tell them to keep fit. It's like the times we've been the best at football is when the manager has been like, keep them at the top of their peak physical fitness. And then you think like, I have no experience. I'm a graphic designer with no experience in this. If I was thrown in as Spurs coach, that would be the one and only thing I actually knew what to do. I'd be like, well, they might as well be as fit as humanly possible.
Yeah.
That's fucking, how is that not blatantly obvious? And it's the same here. If you're not going to practice set pieces, what the fuck are you doing? It's not like it never happens in football. It happens every single game.
She's fuming about them set pieces.
Oh, no, she is.
You're right, mate. You're right.
But I just think it's obvious, isn't it?
We were talking about it because I see Eric Dyer as often a magnet of vitriol from people, right? But we were talking about him during the game, right, Phil? We're both sort of of the same opinion that he's good.
He's good. He's fine, and that's not to say he's underperforming. Again, I think that a lot of people's kind of opinions of him as a centre back are based on the fact that people don't watch other clubs and don't watch how other football teams play. If you do, like me, because I'm a football philosopher or whatever, something like that. He, again, like we're talking about like recent history, right? He's been good. I mean, he had a bit of a shocker a few seasons ago because he was ill or whatever, but he's fine, and he didn't put a foot wrong today. I don't think, not to my mind.
Nah, good player.
For me, like Dyer is the ultimate like. He goes through this cycle for me, like he's amazing, and we're like, oh my god, we love Dyer, and then he goes patchy and goes a bit shit, and we're like, oh, Dyer's shit, what the fuck? And then it's just.
But when was the last time you actually remember him being shit?
Okay,
because
not
I don't.
Shit, but just invisible, like just not doing enough. Those
I don't,
cycles happen all the time.
But I haven't seen Eric Dyer do that since he's moved.
Gaslit you.
No, since he's moved back, since he's had years.
This is classic. This is a cycle of abuse.
Classic toxic masculinity.
He's had years because he listens to Joe Rogan. That's right. But no, he's had years of being moved all over, of playing right back, centre back, defensive midfielder, central midfielder. Nobody's really known his best position. Now he's decided he's going to be a centre back. He's going to focus his channel his energy there. Yeah. And since he's made that decision, and that's, I think, the start of Mourinho's tenure, I think.
Was it when Vertonghen left?
I can't remember exactly, but he's been solid. He's been good, I think.
Yeah.
And I think he's steadily improved. And also, as I brought up before, he has had a chronic health condition for the past few years that he's spoken about on record, saying how much it held him back physically and mentally, and now that he's free of that, he can concentrate on his football again. And we're all the better for it.
What's the deal?
What was it? Was it a spleen or something?
Some gastro into something. I'm not
Whip it out. Yeah. Get it all out.
Get those
Appendix,
intestines
pancreas,
out.
Get all that shit out. Get one of the kidneys out. I don't know. Get them all out.
You don't need one.
Keep it up the space.
So, I didn't actually know that Ben Davies is fucked, that he's got a hairline fracture.
He's not fucked. He's just missing maybe like 3 weeks.
A leg. Oh.
He's missing a kneecap, but it's no big deal. No, he's missing about 3 weeks. He's not.
Clement Longley came in today. I wasn't overly impressed with his performance. I thought his distribution was pretty horrible today. And that was kind of one of the main pillars of his performance the other day. We were lauding the fact he had this amazing game, splaying the ball about, dictating the tempo. Today it felt like he kept giving the ball away.
Yeah. I think with him, he was, and that opinion, although correct, I think is a victim of the fact that the team was just all over the place. He was playing into space where, Conte's system is about, you don't have to think about where the players are going to be, and they weren't where he was putting it. I mean, that might be doing him a bit of favours, but yeah, I think that he, when was his first game? Fulham, was it?
Might have been. First start, anyway.
His first start, anyway, was good. And I think that he looked like he was in control. I think this was a bit of a sort of a wake-up call for him. Again, second Premier League game. Forgive it.
So, Ryan Sessegnon started on the left. Perisic started on the right today. Mm-hmm. It was a funny performance from Sess. I thought he started the game blindingly. Yeah, I thought he looked brilliant. He looked sharp.
He did.
He was going at him. He was whipping decent crosses in. Some of the time, I'd like him to sort of think a little more. Sometimes I feel that he'll whip a decent ball in, but there's no one there on the end of it. So there's no point just whipping a ball in if there's nobody there, right? Mm-hmm. But still, I can be forgiving of that. He's creating decent opportunities. But then, as the game went on, it felt like he just faded. Like when he got moved over to the right-hand side, especially.
Yeah.
He started to fade from the game. And obviously Emerson came on and he moved Sessegnon back to the left.
I'll be honest, I'm a bit over Ryan Sessegnon.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about this a little bit, but I just think that, we know young lad, went to Hertha Berlin, was it? Yeah. And I just think I just want to see more from him, and it's not to be like proper football man, but I'm just like come on, lad.
I mean, the thing is, and it feels unfair to compare him because Perisic is probably one of Europe's finest kind of left left-sided players of the past decade. But we've suddenly seen a player like Perisic come in, and you're suddenly like, oh right, that's what a quality player is supposed to do, right?
Yeah, he does less than Emerson Royale does.
Sessegnon?
Yes.
Ooh.
No, I don't think that's a huge shout at all. Emerson Royale is fair to middling at best. Ryan Sessegnon is pony. I was going to go on a diatribe there, but I thought I'd cut it short. No, I mean, I'm just a bit like, look, we don't need to kind of see, again, same thing with Son. See these players as children. He should be doing better. Is my overall point.
He's a highly paid professional athlete.
He's a highly paid professional athlete, and yeah, he was good at the start of this game. I think I said to you that the fact that the game was at such a higher pace that seemed to suit him because he had less time to think, and he was just kind of acting on instinct, which was a good sign. But as soon as it wasn't, as soon as he was dropping back, I mean, the way he got done for their second was not good at all. If Emerson was doing that, we'd be fuming, rightly so.
You don't seem to agree with Phil there, Shah.
Well, I don't. Maybe I'm not focused on this game necessarily in particular, so maybe it's not that relevant. I think he's made a decent start to the season and risen to the challenge of Perisic. You know, that whole thing of how Conte rested all the new signings in the opening game, and Cesc scored, isn't it? He scored in the first game, I think. And so he clearly has risen to the challenge, and I do think he's played fairly well and kept himself in the team. And but I ultimately think it's good to have the rotation. We have a lot of games, I think it's good. But obviously Perisic is better. I don't think anyone's really questioning that. But then I do think Cesc is still young, and maybe he can learn a lot from Perisic.
Well, I mean, he's spoken about it. We'll move on to Bentancur. We said his first goal in quite some time. Yeah. He really started to shine, like you said, in that second half when we moved to the 3. It's the performance of the two midfielders. I mean, we can sort of talk about Højbjerg and Bentancur together here, really, because I don't feel there's an awful lot of difference between the two of their performances, in so much as I wouldn't want to criticise either of them based on that first half. They were pretty non-existent. We just bypassed them, balls over their heads constantly. Yeah. What are they supposed to do?
That's it. It doesn't know faves, and it makes it hard to kind of critique them or review their kind of performance, certainly when that's going on, because, as you say, they're getting balls in positions where the other team is pressing us because they know that they can outnumber us. It's very, very difficult for both of them.
Højbjerg, to me, has been one of the better players of this season, I think.
Yeah.
He,
that's big of you.
What was that little thing he did at the end? Remember, he had some little moment, didn't he? When we were winning 6-2, and you were like, "We're gonna get another one here." Yeah. So it did feel like if the game went on, we would have won that 7-8-2.
If there'd been 6 minutes of injury time, we would have got another one.
But it just then, when he was confident, when we did have that 3 in midfield, we were starting to see again more from Højbjerg that you don't expect. He is painted as this midfield destroyer, but a lot of his passing and his kind of general reading of the play, I feel, has just improved massively this season. And it seemed like he was really shining in that last little passage of play, like when Son did get his hat-trick.
Yeah, because he can play further up the pitch, which again, I think, as you said, he's not necessarily a destroyer. I mean, for Denmark, he does play higher up the pitch, doesn't he? So when he's on the front foot, that's actually kind of better for him. And I think that's reflected of his good performances this season. It's been when he's on the front foot and when he's playing in the opposition half.
I'll tell you what, we can talk about him as well when he came on. I usually talk about the subs at the end, but it's all relevant. Keep the conversation sort of flowing naturally. Basuma, I felt that when he came on, it was ironically enough, given that Conte was not digging him out, but highlighting his issue with Basuma was the fact that he didn't feel he was defensive enough. Basuma, I thought, when he came on, made a number of really good defensive actions, if we want to say that. But he was brilliant when he came on, especially playing alongside those two.
Conte, he's a mastermind, mate. Says it in the pre-match press conference. Look what happens when he comes on. Plays a blinder. I mean, what was he on for 20 minutes, if that? But yeah, good from him as a sub.
Ivan Perisic, again, to me, another. I mean, he brought him off early. I don't know if it's to conserve him. He is older. He's 33, 34 now. maybe he's probably conscious of the fact Sessegnon hasn't had as much time out on the pitch of late. Maybe he wants him to kind of sharpen his skills in a game that we should be dominating, should be winning. But anyway, regardless of that, Perisic, another fine performance. I was very excited to see him link up with Kulusevski. I can't really recall them kind of... as far as I know, it's the first time they've sort of played together on the same side, so we can't really be expecting miracles immediately. I don't really sort of remember many moments of those two linking up, thinking, oh yeah, class. As much as at least as I was excited by the prospect of seeing them play on the same side. But regardless of that, Perisic again, just another... I mean, I keep saying it again, like I say, I keep repeating myself, but just what a signing. What a signing, a free transfer, a player of that quality. It's,
Yeah, really solid. Solid piece of business. But no, yeah, he's solid. He's great. Great to watch.
Yeah, and I think with him, just going back to kind of Sonny and the way that he's struggled compared to last season, Perisic on his side, on Sonny's side, means that Perisic is kind of doing a lot of the, certainly that wide wing play that Son was, or that space that, more to the point, that Son was occupying. And again, we see Perisic go over to the right. Kulusevski didn't do much in the first half. So again, it is, we have to appreciate that it takes time to adapt.
Richarlison, bit of an off day for him today. I thought, it's not mugging him off. All players have kind of ups and downs. It's interesting to see him playing on that left-hand side and having a performance pretty reminiscent of most of Son's performances so far this season. I don't know if that hints at there being a kind of something of a systemic issue or something there. Systemic, I think you can say that in reference to a footballing system anyway. It feels a bit dramatic, doesn't it? But but still,
of the system, right? It's fine.
Well,
he didn't look great today, right?
What I wonder is whether, because I've actually thought so far this season that he's linked up surprisingly well with Kane and Son, and then because we didn't start Son, so it's Kane and Richarlison, it's kind of like maybe he's just not as used to playing like that, or maybe you just, because you're so used to that incredible, the best Premier League pairing of all time, Kane and Son, so you're comparing Kane and Richarlison to Kane and Son, or to the three of them, and so it's just not quite there between Kane and Richarlison, which why would it be? It's early days. But maybe it's just that, in my opinion, maybe it's that.
What do you think, Phil? Because we were sort of talking during the game about the fact that maybe like it is supposed to be Son and Kulusevski either side of Kane or Richarlison. Do you see Richarlison potentially more as the rotation for Kane, as that focal point, the centre point?
I do think so, and I don't think it's necessarily actually about positional. If you think about how good he was for Everton in a terrible Everton side, he was the focal point no matter what he was doing. And I think that it's about him adapting to being a part of a bigger picture as well. And that, he was good when it felt like all eyes were on him and he was the one kind of chasing things down and he was the one doing this, that and the other. But when you're kind of having to interlink with a wider or a bigger system or a more intricate system, I think, again, it's something that it has to develop. And we are still, well early into his time at Spurs and certainly this season.
I mean, he's brilliant. He's still, to me, he's a superstar. Like he's a brilliant player. I love him already. So I'm not digging him out.
I didn't put a foot wrong to what I can.
No, it was just a bit underwhelming. I thought, generally speaking.
But like all of our front three in that first half didn't really. It was just all over the place from front to back. So
yeah. Well, other than I thought Kulusevski. I mean, in that first half, that whipped ball for Kane for the goal.
Yeah.
For our first goal, and just generally speaking, when you see him on the ball, when you see him running with it, he's one of those players which it's so funny to me. It's so awe-inspiring because he looks kind of uncomfortable with the ball at his feet, but he's a menace, isn't he?
Yeah. That's it. You're right about him being uncomfortable. It's so hard to kind of watch. We've watched the Premier League, which is apparently the best league in the world with the best players, and you see someone like him who doesn't look like he fits the bill. The ball comes to him and you think, oh, you hang on a minute, your body shape's wrong, you're not going to do it, and then suddenly he's already popped the ball past something. He's a different breed, that guy. And as you say, that ball in for Kane's goal was absolutely world class.
Have you been happy with him, Shaw?
Richarlison.
Oh, Kulusevski.
Kulusevski,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I've zoned
Drifted
out.
off. Yeah, exactly. Cheers. I'm glad you're
Spaced out.
paying attention.
I'll be leaving.
Yeah.
Kulusevski, have I been happy with him? Yeah, definitely. Pass me the wine. Yeah, no. Kulusevski, yeah, definitely. In this game, or you mean in general?
In general.
In general, yeah, absolutely. He's
Yeah.
been a great signing along with Bentancur. You know, they still feel like fresh signings.
Yeah.
Even though obviously they've been here since January. I just think he's great.
We are. Like, we're sort of getting to know them,
Aren't we?
Getting to know you.
Getting to know about you. Quick, next player.
Yeah, Harry Kane. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm still.
My cats have just run off.
And I have as well. I've left you.
I've taken him and left. I'm
Just
still here,
turn
mate.
the-
I'll always be
Just
here.
turn the weeds against me.
Turn the cats against me.
Yeah.
I have.
Turn the cats against me.
Harry Kane. Still, I don't think he's playing that well this season. A lot of the focus was on Son because Son weren't scoring the goals, but I don't. His radar is well off, and certainly,
Yeah.
When we were again, this game had so many different factors to it. It's hard to kind of pinpoint when, but there was just times when he picked up the ball in space and he was just putting those balls in, difficult balls, but he was just not quite hitting his mark.
No.
And I think that's kind of been the story of his season. Still scored a good goal. Good assist for Son. Probably should have put Son in for earlier before he'd scored his second, but yeah, I still don't think he's firing on all cylinders.
He was picking out the passes for Son, which I interpreted as quite a supportive move. You know, he seemed to be really, really happy for Son and really keen to help in any way he could, more than he was concerned about scoring goals himself. He was so concerned with Son's first.
I think the two of them have been concerned for one another for the past few
course,
years
and
now. That's why they're the best partnership in Premier League history.
Exactly,
isn't it?
undoubtedly. However, and obviously this isn't unique that Harry Kane's been selfless in that instance, but it just felt like Kane was really motivated to see Scone.
Mate, you're about a mayor,
right?
What's going on?
Scone.
Scone score. All right, I'm
Scone.
not a pod veteran as you are.
I'm not a talking veteran.
Yeah.
Well, I am
Wow,
that.
cheers.
Yeah, fucking
Like
hell.
old fucking
Have we
Yeah,
met?
yeah.
Fog on leg or no?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no.
I've got to say it's my proper football man opinion, but I love seeing Harry drop back, link up the play, and all that sort of thing. But now we've got Perisic in our team. Just fucking stay forwards, Harry.
Yeah.
I just want to see you on the end. We saw it as soon as Kulusevski delivered a good ball into the box. Harry Kane can jump up, nod it in. He's got that presence. He's got that physical ability in the box to be able to do that. Just stay up top a bit more. Just be in the box. And I know people will be saying, well, we've only got those two in midfield half the time. We need that creative outlet. Kulusevski can be that. Kulusevski can be the kind of creative outlet, and I feel that he really is
Harry
that
wants
creative
to be all
outlet for
things
us.
to all people.
I know
at
he
the
does,
time.
but I
Yeah,
just
no,
think
he's
just stay up top and fucking bang him in, mate. You've got Haaland breathing down your neck now. He's coming for you, big boy. You gotta fucking stay up top and just get goals to Tottenham.
Yeah.
That's what he does best. I love his passing. I love all this. Oh, he can be a 9.5 or whatever bollocks people want to say. Yeah, right. But at the end of the day, I want to see Harry fucking Kane banging goals in the back of the net, wheeling off with his little fucking conservative fist pump.
Yeah, no, we've all as Spurs fans got PTSD from the years of being just desperate for a striker. It just literally, it felt like we didn't have a striker for about...
Since Kane and Berbatov, really.
Yeah, well, yeah, but we just didn't have
Had a
one.
Bayor in Windows.
Fraser Campbell.
Yeah.
Sorry, may his memory be a blessing. But no, we were, it just felt like it just was years and years of like, why don't we have someone who can just get them in, tap them in, head them in, whatever. We need someone there. Yeah. And now we do, and it's great. So I just fucking stay there, mate. You're not pacey. Don't try and be everything. Just fucking stay there.
I don't think we've got enough to talk about with Romero and Emerson, but Heung-min Son. Look, we'll save
hang
the
on.
best bit for last year.
Romero's stinker of a miss.
It was a stinker of a miss. It was off. It would have been offside anyway.
Yes, but I just want to recognise that.
I've got to say, in this, I personally think in this week of all weeks, he just thought it inappropriate for an Argentinian to score.
That was
so
very
classy
respectful.
gesture of him. Today it was the Falklands, not the Malvinas. And that's.
took one for the for the other team. Fair play.
He so
he tore off his
good
back
on him.
armband.
Good on him. Heung-min Son. It's been an horrible season for him so far, but our boy, our legend, and I'm going to say it, people always moan about what's a club legend, what isn't. What a club legend is Heung-min Son.
Yeah, no,
because
absolutely.
he fucking is.
From signing that contract when Kane was talking about leaving and he put his name on the contract. No, hang on.
Up the pen.
I forgot what I was going to say. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
I like that. Can I just
He's
for any-
stuck with us in
I was
his
trying to-
moment.
because this is an audio format. I like that you're you know, we make fun of you're shaking your hand at the moment like Jack Nicholson in that scene in The Departed.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my train of thought back on track. He committed to us and he got
At
the
a dark
golden boot last season, and he's one of the best players we've ever had. I won't hear anything against him.
Heung-min Son is our son.
He is.
And you can't speak
We are the
anything.
Teletubbies.
We will fight you.
Sorry, I'm going to stop talking.
The son.
I've got
Wait,
lost it.
oh, the
Yeah,
son.
son in the
Wait, I'm yeah, right.
Just sitting up
Oh,
there
he's
laughing.
He's our big baby laughing.
our-
I was
at
sort
us.
of wandering around eating tubby toast and fucking getting
Cuss-
chased by a Hoover.
I mean,
Custard out of a
I meant
Hoover, is
son
that
as
it?
in child, but yeah, no, why not? He can be
Yeah, I've just
the son.
infantilised him
I mean,
like I
look,
said I
his
wouldn't.
the first goal, it was one of those. I think we were all like, I mean, great, Son scored, but that keeper should have done better. But when you actually saw the
Yeah.
replay, fucking hell,
was proper
That was
science.
a goal. Like that was an unbelievable goal. Second goal, again, an unbelievable goal. All
Yeah.
three of them well taken goals.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just him actually getting a hat trick coming on last half hour, getting a hat trick to sort of dispel a lot of this shit. And like you were saying, Shah, North London Derby, our next game, we don't have any of that hanging over us. We're going into one of our most horrible, smelly games that we have. The Emirates, we never perform well there. We always shrink. Now we know we have one of our best players ready, firing, and that'll shit them up. It will shit them up.
The narrative stops now because he didn't just score; he got a hat trick.
And it was emphatic.
So the questions of Son, blah blah, it's like he scored a hat trick.
But
So the
it's-
conversation's finished.
It's not scuffed goals. It wasn't, he got him in and any goal counts. It was, fuck you, I'm Heung-min Son, and that's it. Like,
from the repertoire.
yeah.
Golden Boot current holder.
Like you were saying, one of the best we've ever had. It feels uncomfortable to say because I grew up idolising him, but he's surpassed even the likes of Sheringham now, right? In terms of in the club pantheon.
He's got to have. He's got to have, because what was Sheringham but a goal scorer?
He's a bit of a creator, and he
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
talisman, a linchpin. Like,
But
but
the thing
I
is,
mean,
it's
in terms of,
generational,
like, yeah.
isn't it? It's generational that he's a player that sticks out to you because that's who you grew up with. If you grew up,
he was still an
if you-
objectively brilliant player.
Of course
Teddy
he was.
Sheringham.
Of course he was.
Yeah,
But do you know
let's
what I mean?
let's
It's
not
like-
forget this is a man that scored a
Yeah,
winning
no.
goal. Well, equalising. Was it it was the equaliser in the Champions League
Yeah,
final.
I'm
Not
not
for us,
question-
though, so we
No.
can
No,
do
no.
one. That doesn't count.
Obviously, but what I'm saying is, if you were growing up now, and these were the players, Son and Kane are your absolute heroes. There's no question. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are the legends, and the kids now, when they're your age, it's not like they're going to forget those players. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kane
yeah.
and Son are going to be their legends, and this conversation will come up.
Yeah, I think you can only be a legend properly in hindsight as well.
Yeah.
So let's wait. But he is. He's still one
And
of the
we're
best players
reticent
we've
to
ever
say
had.
it. Like, so many Spurs fans are reluctant to say about Jermaine Defoe. It's like, please, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's
How many
all
goals he
relative.
scored for the club? He's an unbelievable, without question, club legend.
And a good man, good character. He's
Yeah.
back there coaching now at the youth level. Like,
I fucking love it.
he's obviously a great player. That even the story of him jumping out his fucking car and playing football with Harry Kane and a load of kids playing in the streets
Yeah.
nearby, shit like that is valuable. But look, at the end of the day, as they say,
Well, it's
right,
getting dark.
at the end of the day, I'm over the moon with that performance. But look, we can say everything that we want. Like we were saying at the top, we can talk about performance. We can talk about all the ramifications. Have Tottenham controlled the game? How have they done so far this season? We've won 6-2. We're going into an international break, having won 6-2. It's another win for Spurs. Our unbeaten run in the Premier League continues. We've got to embrace this, right? We have to embrace this.
We have. Let's not overcomplicate
project.
it. As
Exactly.
Shah said at the start, like the record books will show we won 6-2.
Yeah, and that is convincing. Whether the game was ropey and bizarre or
Oh.
not, it's kind of irrelevant,
Yeah.
It does feel weird. Like I was saying, that's why I was sort of putting it to you. It does feel weird, but
it wasn't emphatic, but
it was, which is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing because I know exactly what you mean. It was emphatic, but it was ultimately.
It was 3-2, and then Son came on and scored a hat trick.
It's so bizarrely encapsulating of our season so far. So, but look, I'd rather be doing this than losing the games. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of
by a long shot.
Exactly.
I mean, to be honest, like not to have another big opinion, but losing games is the worst
It's
thing.
not very
That's
good,
the thing
is
I
it?
hate. I mean, I know again, not
So
to be a
you're saying,
football
hang on a
purist.
sec. Wait, you're saying you'd rather have won this game than not won this game?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow, fucking hell, that is a hot take. I'm not sure I suppose I do agree on
Look,
that.
this is
can
why
edit this
people
out,
come
can't
to
you?
this is why people come to Rulery's podcast. The big takes,
For the
big
sizzling-
opinions.
Yeah, the sizzling takes. Yeah.
And well, I hope you have enjoyed listening today. Again, if you have liked it, yes, all the boring, wanky internet content creator stuff. Like, share, subscribe, blah 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 blah. Leave reviews, everything. Come on, you Spurs.
Rich.